Hey everyone, Melee here. We did the tier list live stream, however long ago, whenever this video goes up. This will be a few days after. But for some reason, my internet decided to go down when we were talking about Geigen in the tier list. So I am now recording this the day after the tier list was done. I'm going to edit this in front of the tier list. The tier list from stream is going to be cut into this video. And then at the very end of that tier list, right before the actual stream cut out, I'm going to put in the rest of the tier list, how I would have rated them and everything like that. Just chat's not going to be here. It's just going to be me, this kind of camera angle, but at the end of the video. So you get me during the daytime, just like this, and then the stream of me, and then the rest of it. So there you go. Enjoy the tier list. Okay, we got to get to this tier. We got to get to this tier list. Love chatting. We got to get to the tier list. So, like always, the tier list is kind of out of order. But, you know, we're going to do what we got to do with it. ABC, Bomber, S, all the others are D. Hedera B, in your opinion, too slow. Fools. 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 Hedera is still A tier. While it's at the bottom of A tier, Hedera is still A tier. The splash does like 2 damage. We don't care about the splash post-death. We don't care about the post-death. The Hedera AoE is one of the best AoEs in the game. And it's not a 4-star. Hedera's feel is A. Pretty good AoE damager. Hedera is an amazing AoE damager. There are just better options for it. While Hedera is not meta, like the way Biollante is, Hedera is still very capable on her own as an AoE unit on the field. Simple as that. Hedera is tanky, surprisingly tanky. Not something that you should be using as your team's tank, but Hedera is surprisingly tanky. So, plus for Hedera. Splash is pretty good. The AoE, not the Death Splash, but they did buff the Death Splash. And for whatever reason, Hedera only keeps getting buffed. I think they got a nerf just by changing the cost to 4, but other than that, come on. But I'm not putting her in B, and if she was B, she would be the very top of B. I think she's the very kind of like bottom of A. You think I've just been seeing so many Ghidorahs and Biollantes that you've forgotten how good Hedera is? Exactly. There are so many Biollantes being run right now and so many Ghidorahs that if you take a step back and you use your Hedera, you will rock. I'm using right now in my deck Hedera and Biollante, and the two of them, the AoE combined, is nonsense. It is so good. And you put a Psychic Chorus on them, Hedera heals for a lot. It is really solid. Alright, next, Godzilla Terrestris, I think is C tier. I don't think Terrestris is D. And you could tell me in the comments and in the chat you think Terrestris is D, and all that tells me is you don't know how to use Terrestris. He's pretty good sniper, pretty good range. He has actually surprising amount of health, and he has a heal. He self-heals 110% of his, so it's actually just a 10% heal. He has a 10% heal for 10 seconds after you put him down. You say King Caesar. I haven't had a single King Caesar in the last 2 seasons kill my Terrestris. Simple as that. Not a single one of them has been able to do it. King Caesar obviously is the good counter. You know what? As the seasons go on, the Terrestris get more powerful. King Caesar, it's going to hurt him, but it might not kill him. And then you have Psychic Chorus on there, and this fucker is staying alive. 100%. 100%. This guy will stay alive. It's like Psychic Chorus on him. If a King Caesar hits him, it's King Caesar's dead. But he can die early if the opponent knows where to put their King Caesars. No. Nope. You gotta be better than the opponent. Any of the evolutions can die to the King Caesar. But now with Psychic Chorus, a Psychic Chorus to any of these characters, honestly, on this list puts them in a tier above. However, Sniper, self-regen, right? He's one of the best range in the game. Self-regen, and he's kind of slow. You can effectively use Terrestris. He's definitely not D, but I'm not putting him higher than C. Anyone who wants Shin to evolve 2 times wants to die to G89 and can either phase them before they evolve. Keep seeing spawn Terrestris at the worst times. Yeah. The amount of people that I see in Facebook or Discord or my comments that are bitching and moaning about Terrestris being unusable just don't know how to use them. And it's usually the same people also bitching and moaning about Super X problem. It's because they don't know how to use Ultima either. Or Super X, apparently. But he's definitely in the top of C, but he's definitely not in D. And he's also definitely not B. He's just C. He's like just pretty good. Alright. Burning Godzilla is... I think Burning Godzilla is B. I feel like Burning Godzilla could be C. I definitely think if he's C, he's in kind of in the same spot as Terrestris. But I think he's at the bottom of B. I think he's one of the bottom B units. He has a lot of really cool things going for him. Very interesting unit. I love the way he looks. I love his kit. I love his abilities. The abilities are not nearly as where they should be. Excuse me, I was almost burped. The timer is way too long. His DPS, if they increased his attack speed by like 0.3 seconds or 0.2 seconds, and then they lowered that timer by like 25 seconds, he would be an A unit. No question. It's just without divine intervention in the arena, either your opponent is really stupid or God is helping you play. You're not getting the bar to max. No one uses him, so it shouldn't be B. If Burning Godzilla could become a leader, that would be cool. I'm not going by how many people are using the units in particular. I'm kind of going by what their kits are in the meta. Like, how good is their kit and their stats in the current meta, and are they usable? Not like, oh, you know, no one is using the Kamakura Swarm, that makes it D tier. No, there's other reasons why the Kamakura Swarm is D tier. But you can get him to level his bar fully, you're probably facing morons. Burning G's on par with Terrestris in your opinion. Tankiness and damage, but one has regen and one has explosion that misses. C. Kiryu, S or A? Yeah, I mean, I think Burning is at the very bottom of B. I'll keep him in B for now, but he's probably gonna be the very bottom. Burning is like Burning is literally one more ranged unit added to this game away from being on like D tier. Burning Godzilla third explosion should be half the map. That would be insane. You can do it with high level players as well. Yeetus, get in my Discord. I would love to see you try. I believe you. I would love to see it. Kiryu Unit A, is that who we're on? Oh baby. Oh baby, we are on Kiryu. Can I get your kitchen table? You are losing oxygen. You gotta stay in that kitchen table. Kiryu is a phenomenal unit. There are two things going against Kiryu. One thing is a universal constant between Kiryu and Moguera. People are dumb. People who are dumb play this game. Chat is smart. I know chat doesn't do what I'm about to say. Chat does not put Kiryu by himself on the enemy leader. That is an easy way to lose 6 energy. Kiryu is good in a team fight. Kiryu is good to clear out swarms. Kiryu is good at long range. Kiryu has a bug right now that if he's behind a building, he can snipe your characters from like 8 miles away. It's incredible. Kiryu, this season, his damage is negated by Psychic Chorus pretty much at every level. I have had people drop their Kiryus on my Super X, and then I drop a level 27 Psychic Chorus on my Super X, and the Kiryu will die before my Super X dies. Kiryu's damage is not keeping up with Super X. I feel this season, Kiryu is either the very pinnacle of B tier or the very bottom of A tier. Because his damage is almost non-existent. You're basically living in 2033 and I use Kiryu on swarms. Yeah. This man's living in the future. I want to put Kiryu at A, but he would be going at the bottom of A. But I feel like he should be at the very top of B. This season in particular, Kiryu is a very, very good unit, but the Psychic Chorus is all over the place right now, and the Psychic Chorus just, it makes his damage basically invalid if it's used properly. A. If I'm putting him in A and keeping him in A, he's staying at the bottom of A. I think he's not supposed to just 1v1, needs to be other units to take out the leader. No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, because of the Psychic Chorus buff and the amount of healing that the Psychic Chorus buff does, your Kiryu has to be at a very high level to out-damage the Psychic Chorus. Let me go, I'll literally go right now and I will look at my, my stats sheet. I will literally tell you right now how much damage he would need to do to surpass a Psychic Chorus. Kiryu. Someone in chat, what level is your Kiryu? As a unit. What level, or it doesn't matter, honestly, but what level is your Kiryu? My Kiryu is level 7. So my Kiryu is doing 465 damage per attack. Right? Remember that number, 465. Let's go to Psychic Chorus. Psychic Chorus is healing for 490 damage at level 15 every second. Level 15 Psychic Chorus is out healing my level 7 Kiryu. You know, let's go to a different Kiryu. Alright, so let's go to level 20 Psychic Chorus. Level 20 Psychic Chorus is 995 total healing, right? What is Kiryu at level 20? His damage looking like. Kiryu at level 20. According to our calculations, his damage is 569. Bro, he's not out damaging the Psychic Chorus this season, and that's why I'm saying I think he might be B, because he's just not performing the way he should. Oh, I just punched shit out of the microphone, but he's just not performing the way he should be because of Psychic Chorus. I think he's gonna have to stay at the bottom of A tier this season. He's really good in a team fight, obviously, but the Psychic Chorus is just too strong. And Psychic Chorus is gonna be a deciding factor for a lot of these characters, it seems, because it's in every deck pretty much. And I'm in the camp that right now, if you're not using Psychic Chorus, you're just putting yourself in a disadvantage. Same with Biollante and Batra. And I hate to say it, and I really don't like playing the meta. And right now I'm using an off-meta deck, but it's insane. Kiryu, you can, what is it, Ultima A? Are we ranking Ultima? Oh, I love Ultima. Spence says Ultima's S. He's easy to evolve when used right. He does so much damage extremely well. The other two best units, Bio and Batra. People who say he's not good don't know how to use him. Alright, so you all know Ultima is my favorite character in the game. Now, when people see me in the game and I evolve Ultima, they give up on me. And my Ultima's only level 13. He's not very strong. I mean, that is very strong. But it could be worse. You know, Price, I think, has like a level 20-something, 22. Ultima is not meta. However, I will plant my feet into the ground that he is in the top 5 units, period. I think Ultima is in the top 5. I do not think he is meta. He is not necessary on a team. There are other characters that are your main damage dealers. He is a main damage dealer. He has one of the best range in the game, only outdone by Super X. He has great damage. He has health on par with G54. Ultima shows that not being meta isn't a bad thing. Ultima is so good. Where do you get the Heisei and Fire PNG? I want to download it. I made it. If you're in my Discord, you can type in the Pelip spot and you can take the PNGs from the Pelip spot. Yeah, who just said that? Cookie Snuggles. Cookie Snuggles knows. Ultima has been S or A tier for the entire lifespan of this game. My man Ultima has been nerfed 2 separate times. 2. And he's still kicking ass, bro. He had his attack speed increase, right? So instead of every 3 seconds, it's every 3.3 or something like that. Negligible. And then he had his recovery as Terrestris lowered. Doesn't matter, because if you're not a fucking ding-dong, you can evolve your Terrestris. Ultima is always a very, very good option. I'll say this on stream. I say it in Discord. I am a staunch Ultima defender in the Facebook group that has 1,000+ people. If you use your brain, you can use Ultima and win. He is one of the best units. Period. End of story. Love Ultima. Very great character. Moving on. I could literally sit here for an hour and tell you how to use him in detail. I love him. He's in every deck I've ever made. For the most part, amazing. Dude, they should add me as a unit. They should add me as a passive or something. Last season, we put Fire Rodan in B tier. I still kind of think Fire Rodan is B tier. I don't think he's A tier. His healing is S tier for sure. But you can't get Fire Rodan. I think Fire Rodan is in B tier. He's definitely higher up than Burning. But his speed is pretty good. It's really his pre-evo that brings him down. And his pre-evo isn't a D tier either. The speed boost is really solid. Not to use on other evolution units like Biollante or Mothra or Mothra Terrestris, because that can inadvertently get them killed. But the speed boost is really good late game. Even if you don't have Fire Rodan evolved, just the regular Rodan is honestly pretty good for the speed boost. 93 is worse than Stealth Bomber because at least Stealth Bomber can deal damage to the leader. Stealth Bomber is dead on arrival, first of all. First and foremost. It's dead on arrival. Rodan 93 at least can buff your team to some capacity, which is a lot more than Stealth Bomber's doing, to be honest. And then I know there is staunch Stealth Bomber defenders saying that at level 30, Stealth Bomber's really good. I don't care. I don't give a shit. At level 30, everything is pretty good. No one is investing into Stealth Bomber at 30, and that's only good against players who are not expecting Stealth Bomber. If you have an Ultima in your deck or Super X in your deck, that Stealth Bomber is down as soon as it comes out. Try to get Fire in a fight, you just can't. Haste and dies too fast. Exactly. Swarm meta, good times. The Swarm meta was crazy. Alright. This unit got a buff. I don't remember if it was this season or last season. I think it was last season. Airbase is D. And I gotta say it, you guys. Yesterday I was using Airbase in Ranked. Wasn't that bad. Not very good either. I was using it for a challenge, and then I finished the challenge, and I wanted to see how well I could actually perform with it. And for the bases, they're terrible. But if you can keep enemies away from the bases and spawn units, you can do a lot. But the M-Bot is substantially better because you have the stun. Anguirus is top of A. Someone saying S tier. Airbase isn't even good in the wave battles. Yeah, I know. It's like a troll pick. I'm not saying that it's any good. I was having fun using it though because people were like, what the fuck? Why is there airbase? The tanks and facilities are D tier. The tanks are not D tier. The tanks are pretty solid. Question if you... So I have a question. Will you do Toho reveal? No, Toho reveal. Okay. Doesn't spawn fast enough to be a threat to ground units. Oh yeah, no. The airbase is not good at all. It's like a troll pick at best. It's not any good. The tank base is better because you get the stun, but even that still is not that great. Okay. Anguirus. Anguirus, we did him so dirty last season when we put him on the top of B. Anguirus is definitely in the top of the A again. Anguirus is an amazing meat shield. And last season, I did him so dirty and I put him in the very top of B. He was literally at the very top of B. Anguirus is so goddamn good. Anguirus is so good. Level 20 plus Anguirus you are running it. Level 30 Anguirus has like 4,000 and something health. If you don't want to run a G89 in your deck because your deck is already too expensive, throw this sucker in there, because he will just eat up damage like it's his job. Well, actually, it is his job. He's really solid at eating damage. He's not too good at dealing damage, but he can be great at eating it up. He also will benefit from Kong's leader ability. If you are using Kong after you watch my video, he's not going to benefit from G89's leader ability, but he's a land unit, so he can benefit from the speed boost that land units. Anguirus makes Ultima even better. Yeah, if you can keep units away from Ultima or Super X or like Batra even, it makes them better, right? And Anguirus is like the pinnacle of that. Like you put him down in front of something and then whatever else you want behind it, and they're going to attack Anguirus instead. You have an amazing opening. Oh my god, you have an amazing opening. I put Anguirus in front of my Ultima and in front of my Super X, and the Super X and the Ultima are just going to take down whatever's attacking Anguirus. And then Psychic Chorus on Anguirus, he just stays alive forever. Anguirus was good for you in the lower ranks when you started. You really don't see him as that good now, but a lot has changed in Season 1. Yeah, so after Season 1, he got nerfed, but now he's been buffed up like crazy, so he's really good again. Not as good as he was in Season 1, but he's very, very good. Alright, D tier. I don't think we need to go into explaining. Batra is D. No, Batra is still S tier. The only way that they're going to take Batra out of S tier is if they raise his energy cost to like 7 and make him just unplayable. Because a 7 cost unit for a 30% boost, not great. A 5 cost unit for a 30% boost, very good. Very, very good. They're either going to have to take his... They're going to have to substantially nerf this fucking guy. Batra S. Oh, yeah, that's what we have here. Moving on. Oh, yeah. I can do that quickly because obviously we know how it is. So Batra is A tier. The little baby Batra is A. I would say he is better than Kiryu because he gets still does the buff. Biollante is basically a guaranteed evolution. Nothing more to it than that. And this Biollante is S tier. No need to explain. Batra on his own is also, yes, the larva is both larva Batra and Biollante flower are pretty honestly good damage dealers. So they're pretty good on their own, and then Batra will still give you the buff, and Biollante will still get the water buff, and most of the time you're placing her in the water anyway to evolve her to make her even slower than she is. Yeah, we don't gotta explain that anymore. Alright. So very surprising for this season is Bomber in the S tier, and I want to say that because it's obviously a goof and he's going in the D tier again. They buffed Bomber by, I think they reduced its cost or they upped its speed or something like that. Stupid. It's an S for stupid tier, not S for superior tier. It's an S for stupid tier. So, what do you prefer? Earth, G21, Ghidorah, or Mecha Geigen? Only challenge? I don't understand the question, but I like Earth a lot. Why did I think you were being serious? Because you got played, son. You got played by me, dog. Bomber's fucking terrible. Bomber's always been terrible. Always. Dead on arrival unit. As soon as it drops, it's dead. If it gets to your leader or you get it to their leader, two things are happening. Either you're bad or they're bad. If you get killed by a bomber, uninstall the game. Moving on. S tier. Psychic Chorus. Don't need to explain it. You've all been around the block long enough. You all have seen it. Psychic Chorus, amazing. Level 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 40. S tier. Moving on. You've all seen it. The community's been bitching about it for months. You all know. S tier. So good. Even at the lower levels, if you're not putting this in your deck, level it up in the background. Once it gets level 20, put it in. Your character's going to be invincible. Moving on. Dez Ghidorah. Dez Ghidorah is really good. Dez Ghidorah is really good. And a lot of the community, like the community that is veterans of the game, and I say veterans loosely because the game has only been around for like 7 months, right? 8 months. Veteran players have their Dez Ghidorah at 5 or higher, minimum, right? Unless you've been big dumb and not buying your Dez Ghidorahs. Easy A. Oh, you just said it. Is easily A, yeah. Dez Ghidorah. Dez Ghidorah is so good. Dez Ghidorah is so solid. Especially now that a lot of people, their Dez Ghidorahs are getting up more and more, and there's the event challenger bundles that are, they're like $20 or whatever, like $22 or whatever, and you have a chance to get Dez Ghidorah. So I've seen people getting their Dez Ghidorahs like level 7 or 8, right? That's huge. Dez Ghidorah is extremely powerful. So having him higher and higher he's going to show up back in the meta. Because I'm pretty sure for a while he out damages King Ghidorah to a certain point. But I don't remember exactly what levels that is. I think I have it on my sheet. Dez Ghidorah. So Dez Ghidorah level 7 is doing 527 damage, but he also has a burn that does 50 damage every second for 8 seconds, and he has the stun. At level 7, he's doing 527 damage. What is King Ghidorah doing at level 7? 465. King Ghidorah does have better DPS, though, than Dez Ghidorah, for sure. Way better. Way better DPS across the board. You feel like Dez Ghidorah needs to have his range increase. Yeah, he is like really long. He has really long range, but his like tracking is so fucking weird, man. Destroy Larva. C tier. The swarms are pretty bad. This season, and all the seasons pretty much. They could make Destroy Larva better by slightly increasing their health and making them further apart. Yeah, he has long range, but he locks in at medium. And then he like follows and trails. His tracking is very weird. I don't like it. That's the thing holding him back, at least for me, but he's really powerful. The Destroy Larva. We're in the age of AoE right now. King Ghidorah, AoE. Hedera, AoE. Biollante, AoE. 3 of them are pretty frequently used, right? Dez Ghidorah has an AoE fire on spawn and a piercing flamethrower. And Godzilla Earth now has piercing as well. Their range isn't very good. They're too close together, so missiles and trains will kill them. But they can hit air. Anything standing behind King Ghidorah's first target won't get hit. Almost wish he locked at a shorter range. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, because his range was way longer before, and they nerfed that a while ago. Dimension Tide. I really not seeing anyone use Dimension Tide. It's pretty good still. But I think it's at the bottom of A. It's falling more and more out of A every season. It's pretty good for killing swarms, but no one uses swarms. It's pretty good for grouping units together for big AoE hits. So this with like King Ghidorah, this with Biollante, this with even burning is really, really good. But its cost is what makes it worth it. It has a really unique ability as well. So I'll put it in the bottom of A, but we are like one good effect being added to the game for this to be B. It's seeing a lot of play though, and it does a really good job, and it's one of the more unique units for sure. But DC is great for killing larva strats if they use Mega to try to counter. Yeah, there's a lot of really good situations you can use the Dimension Tide in. So I'm not gonna put it in B, but it'll be just whatever. Gerardo, if you just keep spamming messages that you're just gonna piss on my table, I'm literally just gonna mute you. This is like the 18th billion piss on my table message, and I don't see anyone in the chat laughing, so I'm not even reading them. Next is Dorats. Dorat's pretty good. Dorats are... I almost wanted to give them the top of C, but I think they are B. They really do eat up units. You seen them eat up Bio and Angie? I have. Yeah. Especially at the lower ranks. Dorats are kind of all over the place. The Dorats are not terrible. Their only crux, obviously, is if there's anti-air. They're really good at keeping a Super X occupied, keeping an Ultima occupied. They're the comma of the air. For sure. But I think Anguirus does more damage than them. I'm not sure. I think Dorats are more expensive as well. I think Dorats are 3 cost. But they're not bad. They die easily. They're like the Anguirus of the sky. I'm gonna give them the B tier. They're alright. They're definitely coming up in the meta. I'm seeing them a lot more frequently. But they're definitely not meta. Alright, this thing. I hate this battery. I don't think it's good. A lot of people do think it's good. It had, it was brought to 6 energy cost for some reason, and then it was brought back down to 5. So whatever. ERB I don't think is A. It's definitely B. It's a take it or leave it. You don't have to put it in your unit. I rarely lose to people using these. If someone in the first match of the the first play of the game puts down ERB and I have evolutions in my hand, I'm basically guaranteed my evolutions unless their hand is like a bunch of really low costs, and then even then I'm pretty much also still guaranteed it. I don't think this is A. It's definitely B, and I don't think it's the top of B. I think it's a pretty whack energy trade. 5 energy for 8 total from this thing. So you lose 5 energy just to gain 5 back really fast, and then 3 more extra energy. I don't know. Not worth it to me. I know a lot of people use it. It's B tier. Definitely dropped off hard. Especially now, you know, the more units that get added, the more things are likely to drop. Sunday. Freezing Sunday. Freezing Sunday A tier. Freezing Sunday is very fucking good. If you don't want to use Anguirus, if you don't want to use Dorats or something to body block or stop a King Caesar or stop a Mothra Leo or stop... Sanday's really good. Sunday does what Manila does, except in an AoE, and you can place it anywhere. Very good. Very good. Sunday is on par with Manila, but worse than Cams. Sunday's for sure on par with Manila. I would even say Sunday might be better than Manila. Manila just is able to do constant, you know, he can shoot and he can stun lock, which is a very positive, but Sunday has a really good AoE, so it's definitely neck and neck with Manila. If you're not running Sunday with Super X or Ultima, you're tripping. I run the Anguirus and Manila with Sunday and Ultima, and the Anguirus are great as well with them, but I've swapped out Kama for Anguirus, and it's pretty good as well. You gotta go. Alright, I'll see you later. Sunday's good alongside Burning. Well, yeah, I guess you can, you know, freeze some guys to give Burning some time to get his charge up. Alright. I wanted to add a section here for unobtainable. For Legendary Godzilla and Kong. I wanted to give them their own tier. However, there are still plenty of people that have them and use them. Cookie, you've never heard someone compliment Sunday? You're very clearly not in the Discord or in Facebook groups or anything like that, or on Reddit. Sunday's very, very good. Or hung out in these streams, because we always gas up Sunday. At least in the last few seasons. Godzilla 2021 is good unless you have an S tier Manila. All Manila to S tier. I sometimes run space instead of Anguirus. That is a large energy difference. Legendary, maybe B, Legendary Goji B. I think Legendary Goji is at the top of C, if I can, or top of, I'm sorry, top of B. If I gotta be honest with you. I don't... He's good if you have him leveled up, and if you even have him unlocked. bad thing about him is we don't know if he's coming back, and they're making new MonsterVerse stuff. Allegedly, the new MonsterVerse movie that they're filming is a Kong movie, and there's a new Monarch show, but we don't even know if Godzilla is going to be in the Monarch show, so we don't know if this guy is ever coming back. So if the Monarch show comes out, maybe it's filming this year. If it comes out at the end of next year or in 2024, if this game is still around, maybe then we'll get Godzilla 2021. But if they do another legendary event and they give us like 2019 Mothra, Rodan, King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, like that would be very much appreciated, and then I can see them coming back. But right now they can't. They're not coming back, and it's just going to be harder to level them, and they're just going to drop off because even people who have like a level 10 or 12 Kong and 21 they're going to get outpaced pretty soon. Hedorah flying is C. It's the bottom of C. And I'll explain to you why. Hedorah flying form we normally put in D tier because it doesn't do anything. However, they made it was basically always a guaranteed evolution. But now it actually is a guaranteed evolution because they gave it a health buff. It's the very bottom of C, and I'm literally only giving it C because now it is harder to kill. It is literally harder to kill. I know if you can use G materials for G21 and Kong. I know materials used for 4-star, but I wonder if it's only obtainable ones for all 4 stars. You can use the materials were put in the game specifically because Kong and 21 left and people wanted to upgrade them. You can use the G materials on Kong and 21, but eventually it's going to be so expensive and they're going to drop out of the meta. And I feel like it would be smarter to use the materials on maybe a new 4-star that is meta. If Destroya is meta, for example, it might be better to get him up really fast. Flying Hedorah is good because if there are commas under it, it can at least slowly damage them. I'm not even considering the damage for Hedorah flying form part of this kit. It's literally only because they literally buffed its survivability, and it's just really impossible to kill it now. It's almost a guaranteed evolution unless you come in with 2 Rodans, both of them together with the speed boost, and they just nuke them instantly, right? If you place him like in your first turn, you're going to get Hedorah. What is the chances if Godzilla vs. Kong Anniversary when they release Mechagodzilla 2021? If they release Mechagodzilla 2021, then for sure I think Kong and G21 are coming back. But we are about to pass the year anniversary of Kong and Godzilla. It's literally, has it already been a year, or is it about to be a year? And if they don't release, if there's not a Kong and Godzilla 1 year celebration at the end of this week, then they are not coming back for a minute. We can't get G materials as often or as easy as units still in the game, so using G mats on them will always have them fall behind in levels. Yeah, exactly. They're always gonna fall behind. You could pull more of Space Godzilla than you could possibly use a G materials for Godzilla 21 in a single season. You could theoretically level up a Space Godzilla 5 times in a season if you were lucky enough, and only pulling Space Godzillas. You can only right now level up a G21 once if it's below level 5, or twice at the end of the season, or once again if it's above level 5. Anywhere between 5 and 10. Once it surpasses 10, it's going to take you over 1 season to collect the G materials necessary, unless they give us a way to buy them. GVK came out March 31st. Okay, it's March 27th, and we've had no word on an anniversary event for this game for their 1 year. There wasn't even a year anniversary event for Singular Point. That anniversary was this past week. That ship has sailed. There was no offers. There was no boosted rates for Terrestris or Jet Jaguar. There was no in-game events. This next update, if there isn't a Singular Point offer, I'm gonna be upset. But if there's no mention of a MonsterVerse thing this week, then it's not happening anytime soon. We got to move on. Kama Swarm is C tier. Kama Swarm is also pretty bad. You're paying a lot for a lot of weak units. They can take a lot of hits, but it's 5 energy. And they're all going to go down pretty much in 1 hit. You could alternatively use the regular Kama for 2 energy and have them be a little bit beefier, which is also pretty good. For the price of G material, it should equal 3 G material. What is the price for one? We don't know the price for 1G material. Because they haven't sold it to us. And I'm certain at some point they will. Kama is pretty good though. Kama's always been pretty good for 2 costs. You get 3 body blockers pretty much. They can't attack air. They're like Dorats but better because they're cheaper. And they can protect against ground units, which is what you want. The Dorats cannot save you from a G89. They can just damage G89. The Kamakuras do have a chance to stall out the G89, which is why they're really good. Although they cannot hit the air units. You can kill G89 easily with Kama Swarm, but you can't do that. But you can do it with Mega for the same cost, and Mega won't die instantly to AoE. Beautiful way of saying it. Beautiful way of saying it. King Caesar is A tier, for sure. King Caesar is definitely A tier. King Caesar. What isn't there to say about King Caesar? You're talking about an all-star exchange section? Oh. King Caesar, easy A. Been an A unit for a long time. King Caesar high B. The days of killing evils with King Caesar is gone. It's definitely harder to kill Batra and Biollante with King Caesar, but you can still kill Terrestrises if you're smart. You can still kill Mothras if you're smart. And even if we don't, you know, and even if we forego him killing the evolution units, right? The damage output from his rush is very, very powerful. And it's going to do a considerable amount of damage to anything. You saying high B because Kama's and Angie ruin him. I think he's at the bottom of A. I don't think he's a B. I'm willing to make a compromise if you can make a compelling argument. But I think that he's at the bottom of A. King Caesar is pretty much on the way out. I think that he most likely... I want to say he most likely is out. But... you know, now you got me thinking. I haven't had a single King Caesar do anything substantial to me this entire season, honestly. Think about it. He just wastes his charge, and then he gets a few hits off. Doesn't kill an Angie for the same cost. Top of B. Angie's also... no, Anguirus is the same. He's 4. I'll put him at the top of B. Still very good damage, obviously. But... he's not doing what he used to do. Apparently. Yeah, actually, this season and last season... everyone in the Discord makes jokes that Terrestris or the King Caesars are killing my Terrestris, but I haven't had a King Caesar honestly kill my Terrestris in a long time. Sunday Mega Swarms, except Dorats, Anguirus, and Stunners all slow him down a bit. Yeah, okay, I see that. Definitely Dimension Tide, Sunday, Anguirus, and Kama being so high up these days makes it harder to use him. King Caesar, or I'm sorry, not King Caesar. King Ghidorah is definitely A. King Ghidorah is one of the best DPS options, especially with the AoE that he has. I've always said from the beginning, like always, King Ghidorah is usually A tier. King Ghidorah was only like D tier a long time ago. Ever since he got his original buffs, he's been in the A. He's like one of the main damage dealers that you get to choose. 7 cost needs to be high level for it to run. So his Ultima and Batra will rinse him, but he's got insane AoE. The way I've always tried to say, like, determine his spot in the meta has always been, you always want a high damage or a high DPS in your deck. I run Ultima in my deck, right? Because he's really good single target damage. King Ghidorah is really good AoE damage, and he's flying. I'm pretty sure he's the only flying unit that has AoE. I think Mothra has AoE, kind of. Not really to the level that King Ghidorah has. But he's always like a main damage deal, right? You don't want like a King Ghidorah and a G89. You don't want a King Ghidorah and an Ultima. He's pretty expensive. He does really good. Pretty much a mainstay of decks in the meta. He's not meta, but he's pretty much a mainstay damage deal. Him and Ultima are always like together. in terms of who you want in your deck. He'll be an OG unit, so he'll always be one of the highest level 4-stars you'll see in Arena. Even without his levels, if you are using King Ghidorah, like, I mean, he's just going to be good regardless, you know? He is just pretty good all around. Markalite is a C tier. It is 4... Markalite is 4-second attack. Does a lot of damage. Has really good range. Is immobile. Immobile. Cannot move. Bad. Does a lot of damage. Has long range. Good. C tier. Very bottom is C tier. AoE is area of effect. So that is like... Hedera is AoE because it does a big splash. Biollante is AoE because she hits in a 360. That's the area of effect. King Ghidorah does AoE because he has that diagonal, like that spread. I don't know how to describe the cone. Like that, he like, because he attacks like this kind of shape. So, there you go. AoE means good. In this game especially, AoE means good. Alright. This base is okay. The base is not very good. The only thing that is keeping the tank base from being in the D tier is that the tanks have a stun. There you go. Moving on. The tanks can stun. If you have a lot of them, it can be bad. Surmailia is a Genshin waifu tier list when? I might. I played Genshin for a little while. I fell off so hard. Genshin just couldn't keep me enthralled. I don't know, something about, I don't know what about it. I couldn't get behind it. Although, yeah, I definitely did dabble. God, what was I gonna say? I don't remember. Sorna? Look her up. She was like the best. Genshin, Sayonara, right? What's her name? Signora, I think, is the waifu that I liked a lot. Yeah, Signora. I just googled her. That's the waifu that I liked. Moving on. The Mbot base is pretty fallen off. I think it's definitely better than these two ding-dongs. I don't think it's C. I don't think the Mboss are C. They die in one shot. Man's getting Genshin waifus in his search history. You act like I didn't already have Genshin waifus in my search history. I think these Mboss are bad. I do not think they are that good. Manila plus tanks plus bases perma-stun and not worth it. Yeah, if your enemy units are like super low level, you can perma-stun them, but you're spending 4 energy. Okay, so let me put in this perspective. For 5 energy, you get the Mbot base, which is going to spawn a ton of the Mboss. And while they're going to die, there's the same amount of hits as these Mbot pair. You spawn a ton of them, right? This Mbot pair is 4 energy. You summon 2 and they die instantly. D tier. Top of D tier, though, because they have the stun. One of the tops of D tier. Mecha Godzilla, I think, is in the top. I don't know, from the top of B. He's in the top of C. He is like the pinnacle of average unit. We've said it a million times here. I'm not going to really go into it. He's pretty good at... He's okay at everything. He's not great at anything. He's just okay. Mecha has always just been decent. I feel if they buffed his range, he'd be good. Yeah, if they buffed his range, he would be really good. Ooh, Megaguirus... Megaguirus is A tier for sure. Megaguirus is tanky. I think one of the only flying brawlers, if any. I think I would consider Dorats flying brawlers. So this is the best out of this and Dorats. Great slow. Great speed. Great attack. Tanky health. Looks cool. Very good unit. One of the best units on defense. For sure. One of the best defensive units in the game, Megaguirus. Very solid. Like her a lot. 10 out of 10. Manila is still at the top of the charts. Manila is pretty freaking sweet, man. Replace Mecha with Mega. She is amazing. Yeah, Mega Gears is up there. What are you talking about? She's amazing. She's in the A tier. Use Mega Gears in your Earth deck? Listen, I used to use Mega Gears all the time in my Space Gods, my original Space Godzilla deck. Something using Mega offensively works out. Oh, Mega Gears is an amazing offensive unit for sure, and she's also an amazing defensive unit as well. Dude, Manila is one of the best units in the game. Period. I say it every time there's a tier list. They have to, as soon as they raise Manila's cost to anything above 2, it's going into B. But for 2 cost, you get the 3rd best range in the game behind Ultima, right? And a stun. Amazing. Goated. Goated. Manila's very good. Love Manila. You love to see it. Missiles. We put missiles in the C tier last time. I don't think they deserve the C tier. You fools convinced me that missiles were C. I don't believe you. Swap Manila for comms? No. Comms, you know what? I'll swap Sunday for comm. Or, you know what? I'll put them in front of the Hedera. But I'm not going to put Manila in front, behind the Anguirus. Although for 2 cost, I mean, both are very good options. I run both in my deck, and they are actually very formidable. Only Kiryu mains use missiles, yeah. Ding Dongs who use Kiryu as their main in late game use it. I'll put the missiles at the top of D. They're just not performing. They don't hit like they used to. Same with trains. I'm just going to go ahead and throw the trains in there. They're basically the same fucking thing. Alright, Moguera. Moguera is pretty good. I want to put Moguera in the B tier. I feel like Moguera is a higher B. Kiryu is better. Pretty good to pincer with Moguera and Kiryu, though. That is a decent strategy. A lot of people do not use Moguera correctly. They're big dumb and they do the same thing that Kiryu does. What do you say? Moguera's high B counters Super X, kinda ERB, and the leader's distraction is amazing. Less than Kiryu, can counter all the same things Kiryu can do. Just, I'll put him in the B tier. They nerfed him pretty badly, so we can't Moguera snipe anymore, and that was, like, pretty detrimental. Mothra Larva is in the C tier, and I want to put Mothra Larva right behind Rodan, because Mothra Larva can slow, but she is not going to really be doing that, because if you're not a dum-dum, it's going to evolve. Yeah, see, Spencer, you just said the same thing. The slow is pretty good, but I'm putting it behind Rodan, because even Rodan, late game, will give you a speed boost, and can boost up your team. While a slow is also good late game, Mothra Larva is going to take less hits than Rodan to kill. Kiryu is good and all, but have you thought about the Type 2 Kiryu in Tokyo SOS? He should be added to the game. The only difference is SOS has a drill. Drill would be cool. I would love to see a different Kiryu added as well, especially without that backpack. But I don't care either way. They're both pretty cool. This Mothra Leo... Yeah, Mothra Larva doesn't slow at a range saves at all. To use the slow for Mothra Larva, it has to be really close to the enemy. That's not where you want it to be. Mothra Leo... what do you say? Mothra Leo is getting a lot more play for some reason, but still mediocre. Yeah, I think Mothra Leo is probably in the bottom of B. Mothra Leo is not amazing. Have I played Defense Force? Yes, I have. I think I've beaten Defense Force. Mothra Leo is seeing a resurgence. I don't know why. It's just alright. It's alright unit. These are like a worse version of Caesar. Mothra herself... I don't even think Mothra herself is overly powerful either. I think Mothra is a B unit. I don't think Mothra is an A unit. She is pretty good. She does good AoE, but... Wait, why are there 2 Echan 300s? Oh, one I think is his personal, and one I think is his YouTube account. But, Mothra is, like, okay. She does really good AoE, for sure. Like, really good AoE. I think she's... We put her in A last season, but I don't think she's A. I think she is in the B. I think she's high B. I don't think she is in C. She's definitely not C, but I also don't think she's in A this season either. There's just so much working against her. Rodan 64 I think is B. I want to put Rodan 64 above Godzilla 21, but I may be mistaken and then maybe put him like here. Rodan at high B is very annoying. Oh, you said the idea. I'm sorry, I'm reading your text and trying to do this thing. Really solid unit. You get him really, really early on in the game. And he scales pretty well. He's fast. His attack is like 1.4 seconds. So if you keep leveling him when you get him like as soon as you start the game. If you keep leveling him up, he's actually pretty menacing. Like, I deal with them pretty quickly. They have low health, but their attack speed is really fast. So it takes Ultima 3.3 seconds to attack. In that time, one of these Rodents is going to hit him like twice. So they are pretty annoying at a high level. They will die pretty fast. They're not a recommendation that I make, but if out of any of the units that have really good investment potential early on is this Rodan. But it's also like a pretty okay unit in kind of the same realm as Mechagodzilla, where he's pretty good at what he does, but he's not really good at what he does. But the only difference is he's way faster than Mechagodzilla, so he gets the B tier. Space Godzilla. I also think Space Godzilla is B this season. And is my phone the 13? Yeah, I have the 13 Pro. I think Space Godzilla is B. The Biollante is an instant counter, first of all. One of the few units that can make it to a team fight in time from across the map. Yeah, Rhoda. Spence, you summed it up. Space Godzilla would be an A tier unit, but there's too much AoE going around right now in the meta, to the point where his crystals are almost unusable. You can use him effectively with like proper tank placement, like Hedera or Anguirus or Biollante or 54 or 55 or GD9 or something like that. But overall, I would not want to run him if he was anything less than what he was, like his cost now. He's 6. There's too many 6 cost units that I would rather run over him. I have been using him a lot in that King Kong deck that Stagathi made, which is pretty good, but he's, you know, part of the deck, but a lot of the other moving pieces of the deck is what make it really good, especially in Anguirus. So he's getting a high B, but he's not getting any higher than that because the AoE is too strong. Alright, so now we are at the part of the tier list that got cut from the stream because the stream crashed. So G89, Super X, Geigen, Jet Jaguar, Kong, G54, Geigen, Kids, and Earth, the main event. So let's just get into it and start it up right quick. I think that G89 is either the top of B this season or the very bottom of A. I almost want to put him in the bottom of B because, like, he's not really doing as much as he should in the you know, the days of the Super X and the King Ghidorahs and Moguera, stuff like that. Not Moguera, Megagearus, but I think his stats will carry him enough that I'm going to keep him in the bottom of A. He's the very bottom of A. He's one more ranged or flying unit added to the game from being in B, because he has to be so up close. I mean, he has amazing attack. He has amazing, you know, health. It's just that he cannot compete with some of these ranged units. You know, a lot of these units were slow as well, so he's dropping very, very quickly. And the more units that we get that are out of his reach, the more he's going to be dropping. But his stats are still incredible. His stats are very, very good. Super X. I don't got to tell you guys about Super X. Oh, these guys switch, by the way. And that goes here. Super X is so good. I honestly think Super X might be better than Ghidorah, but Ghidorah has really good AoE and DPS. Super X is, if not, I think he's kind of better than Ghidorah. Super X might actually be a little bit better than Ultima. This season specifically. Super X is a really good plug-and-play unit. Super X has the best range in the game, and it can be a problem if left on, you know, untouched. A lot of people always are complaining about, you know, everyone's using Super X spamming, I can't get past the Super X, blah, blah, blah. You gotta use a long-range unit, man. Ultima, Manila, another Super X even will take care of it. Very low health, so it'll go down to like 1 or 2 hits, maybe 3. And Psychic Chorus at a high level like 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, whatever, is going to heal Super X so much that for Kiryu, the damage is completely negated, right? So one Kiryu can no longer solo a Super X if Psychic Chorus is involved in that altercation. So keeping that in mind, Super X, while I would have put it maybe in front of Anguirus and behind King Ghidorah last season, this season I definitely think it's the very top of A tier. It's just not meta, because your deck you can definitely win without Super X. However, it is such an integral part of so many meta decks. It's got to be the top of A tier for sure. Geigen. This is where stream cut out because I was shitting on Geigen. So Geigen, I still think is at the top of D tier. No substantial buffs to Geigen recently. Dead on arrival, the same as the Bomber. The only thing he's better than the Bomber and keeping him from being at the bottom of D is because he's a 3-star, so his stats scale way better than the Bombers do. Geigen is dead on arrival. I have never seen a Geigen reach another leader in any capacity in the last few seasons, especially with Biollantes everywhere, Super X everywhere, Ultima, Manila, long-range units. Geigen has no self-defense. He just pulls up to the facility, kills it, moves on to the leader, right? He's really good at countering Space Godzilla with the crystals, really good countering the bases. He's not going to make it to the leader. If he does make it to your leader, I don't know how you let that happen, but Geigen will just die instantly, right? The difference between Moguera and Kiryu than Geigen and Bomber is Geigen and Bomber go straight to the leader, while Kiryu and Moguera, you can place them anywhere, which gives them way more of an advantage. So, and they don't just attack facilities and leaders. So Geigen, top of D, amazing leader, amazing leader. Some of the best decks have Geigen as their leader. Not a very good unit, not at all. Jet Jaguar is in the C tier. He's not as bad as all these other things. But to be fair, these 4 are kind of unusable. Markalite at a high level does a lot of damage, but because it has such a long attack and it doesn't move, it can't really defend itself in the same way that Earth can. So this is definitely... I'm done here, I'm sorry. This is definitely an appropriate spot. His block is really great, his health is okay, and his damage is subpar right now at least. While I'm recording this, we've got the balance adjustments for the next season, for season 11, and he is getting a boost, so I suspect he might move up in the C tier, but I don't know if he's going to be B tier. But for now, he's in the C. He's really not usable, but he's not absolute garbage. He's still pretty good because of the blocking. Kong is in... I think Kong might be in B. Kong is really strong, very underrated unit. He's always been B. It's just he's a little too expensive. There are other 6-cost units that I would rather play instead of him, and I would rather use for 1 more energy G89 than Kong. Kong is very good, he's very beefy, but a lot of people don't really have the levels on him, and at this point in the game, it might not even be possible to get the proper levels onto Kong. So with that being said, he's going to stay in B, and he's probably going to remain in B, same with G21, until it comes to a point where they are completely outmatched and outbalanced, and they fall into C and D, because they will just be too weak to compete. And I don't foresee that happening, at least for another few months. Maybe 6 or 7 or 8. I'm down here now. Godzilla 54. Godzilla 54... I think he is worth taking up. He is, I think, an A-tier unit. Used properly, he's pretty devastating. I think a lot of people will take umbrage with the fact that I put him in A. But I mean, his stats are really good. He has the same health as Ultima, so he is pretty tanky. He has really good damage. His range is solid, and he can become a 4-cost Kiryu, which is... A 4-cost Kiryu is amazing. He can become a 3-cost Burning, also amazing. He can become an Ultima for... What is it, Ultima at 4 cost, 5 cost, 4 cost? It's alright. I mean, we don't really want him to become Ultima, but he can become a G89 for 5 cost. That also is very strong. So the more Godzillas that get updated to his kit, the better he's going to become, and the more Godzillas, or the more that the Godzillas and Kiryu get buffed, the better G54 will become. G54 is only going to be as bad as all the other units in his kit. He's an A-tier unit. Him himself is very, very solid. But the fact that the other characters that he's with also are very good just keeps him getting higher and higher. He's not the top of A. I wouldn't run him over, like, King Ghidorah, but he is definitely a viable option. He is a little expensive, so that's kind of at the bottom of A. Geigen 04. I think this season Geigen 04 is at B. I think he might be at the, like, near the top of B. Only because, while his DPS is very strong, his speed is really good, his stun is really good, at this point in time, he is too low level to be effectively used. He does have, I'm projecting that Geigen 04, if not next season, the season after is going to be A for sure. A high level Geigen 04 is going to be very, very solid, but the fact of the matter is no one really has them at a usable level, save for like 3 or 4 people and the whales, right? Geigen 04, very good and fixed. I'm projecting an A tier unit for sure in the seasons to come, but right now as it stands, he's getting wiped by Bios, he's getting wiped by Biollante, he's getting wiped by the Super X. Very great. Still a long ways to go, because his health is really low and his damage is really low. But his DPS, because his attack speed is so good, that he's definitely a unit that I'm going to be watching. His stock is going up, man. He's going to the moon. Kids, I think, is in the C tier. I want to almost put Kids in D tier. I'll put it like right behind Geigen. Kids, I actually might even put it over here. Kids is okay. Kids is not very good. Kids is going to move your units 3 spaces up. But when it does that, there's not only just an animation that freezes your unit in place. Your unit can be damaged while it's frozen in place in that animation. Then it's going to move your unit 3 spaces up and show the enemy where they're going to be appearing for like 8 seconds. If you don't upgrade Kids, it's like an 8-second timer. Kids at level 30, it's going to have like a 3-second teleport timer. That can actually be really solid, but I just don't think it's going to be meta. It's definitely a fun gimmick to use and like run around with and just dump it places, but it's, I don't know. I don't know what they could do to make Kids better. It's just a fun gimmick. I really don't think it's something that's ever going to see true competitive play. Maybe when there's nothing else to level up and we get it to 30 and 40, then like a 3-second teleport, you know, especially to the end of the match, can be very good, but it's just not working right now. Not a fan. Finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. Girth, this season, Godzilla Earth is, I think he's in the top of B tier. I think Godzilla Earth is almost A, not quite. The thing that's holding him back, I think, is his, I don't want to say his damage, but I think it is his damage. He attacks every 5 seconds, and for every 5 seconds, for his attack to be okay, it's whatever. He gets a 33% damage boost, though, when he falls below, or no, he gets like a 50% boost when he falls below 33% health, which is really, really good, and that, when he's in that range, makes him an A tier unit because of his damage is so good. But other than that, his health is what's really going for him. He's a huge target. He's going to be targeted all over the place. Do I think he's meta? No. Do I think he has potential to be meta? Definitely. Level 5 and up, Godzilla Earth, very, very strong. But everything in the A tier in this game is probably going to run through him unless they're at kind of equal levels. His piercing is really good. His health is amazing. His attack speed sucks. His damage is okay. I totally think next season we can be seeing Godzilla Earth in A tier, the same as Geigen. I just don't think that with the other units at the moment, he is going to be overly usable. He is very, very good, and I definitely think he's on the rise, but I do not think he is there yet. Not that his kit is bad, I just think we haven't found the perfect deck for him yet. While there are really good, and this is the same argument that you can make for any of these characters, and I'll say it here. The characters are all really good, right? B tier is all really solid characters. A tier is really all solid characters. Until there's some kind of other synergy that we can find with a new unit, I don't know. Right, like, we don't know, in the next season we get Mecha King Ghidorah, if, for example, and then maybe he does something that can boost Godzilla Earth for some reason, and then Earth King Ghidorah combo is meta. See, that could be a change that I could see. Godzilla Earth, Mothra, Space Godzilla, and Geigen 04 are like this close to being A tier or meta. They just need something, maybe an external booster or something to get them there. But in any case, that is the end of the tier list. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties on the last stream that we did for this, and I hope that this video edited together and put out makes up for it. So thank you all so much for watching all the way through the end, and I appreciate you staying all this way. I will catch you all on the next one. Bye bye.